Kia ora. The truth is coming. Today is May 9th, 2023. In August last year, I knew that the harm caused by the New Zealand government's COVID-19 response had to be fully researched, documented and reported. But what emerged was the need to investigate the behaviour of politicians, medical bureaucrats, academia and New Zealand media, which might explain how such massive harm could be caused. The River of Lies, a New Zealand Scamdemic investigative documentary, started in September, and it has been a long journey and a much bigger one than I could have anticipated.
This government does not care for New Zealand and its citizens at all. I mean, you cannot tell me that Jacinda gives a rat's tail about any of us. I mean, look at how many suicides have happened over the last 2 years. But oh no, hang on, let's just rewrite how we classify suicides. Oh look, it's dropped.
What we're seeing on Channel 1, Channel 3, New Zealand Herald, Stuff Media, it's all been bought and paid for. You know, these media companies, you didn't get part of the $50 million grant, did you, Billy?
We've also seen the spread of misinformation on COVID-19, particularly through social media. We had to act, so we made it a priority to establish a public interest journalism fund to help our media continue to produce stories that keep New Zealanders informed.
I know with the mandates there were a lot of people who lost their jobs. It was a no jab, no job situation, so a lot of employees and a lot of businesses closed. Personally, I have two friends who own restaurants, very top restaurants in New Zealand, lost everything, lost their whole life, and as a consequence lost their life as well. Literally, they took their own life.
We had kids in here that couldn't have the vaccine. You know, it wasn't just an issue about they didn't want it, they couldn't have it. And they were kicked out of their networks, from sport to, you know, their friends to everything. You know, I mean, these kids at 12, 13 years old, which is just unbelievable that you'd expose a kid at that age where they're finding who they are and their identity in life, and that you'd expose them to that sort of you know, trauma is just unbelievable from the government. But that's what we were dealing with. We were dealing with these kids that were suicidal, very bad depression, and their parents were coming in here and saying, if you close, I don't know if my kid's going to make it.
I was what they call vaccine hesitant. I really wasn't going to have it, but they made it to the point where there was just no way not to, for me personally. She got up there and said that, you know, no concerts, no summer, you know, and I had concert tickets from 2020, hundreds of dollars worth of concert tickets that I wasn't going to get any refund on. But the real issue I had was on day 4, which was about 90 hours after I'd had the injection. I turned over in bed and it was just explosions of pain throughout my body, excruciating pain. I was in tears and crying out in pain. My muscles felt like I'd run a marathon on no training. It was just literally the worst pain of my entire life.
What we have uncovered in this documentary is shocking, angering and heart-shattering, but leaves us with important questions that need to be answered. How do we hold those responsible accountable for their actions? And can we and should we ever trust the New Zealand government again? This documentary plays a major part in answering these questions. We've recorded over 1,800 minutes of interviews, and we now intend to release not 1, but 3 documentary episodes, because what we have captured is far too important not to share. We are now in the editing phase and can see the light at the end of the tunnel for releasing the first episode. In this documentary you will hear expert testimonies from scientists and doctors, and also the testimonies of those who've been harmed by the New Zealand government.
I know enough about infectious diseases. I'm not a vaccinologist, but I have a good understanding of immunology. So I knew this was nonsense. You don't quarantine the healthy. I knew in a heartbeat we were in so much trouble because never before had the whole Western world done the same thing in lockstep. Over the next few weeks, all the countries I could find information at were imposing the same nonsense but damaging measures.
This is some of the most brilliant, well-orchestrated, and massively funded pack of lies that humanity has ever seen.
This was arbitrary and capricious. It was not science-based, and it led to one of the greatest abuses of power by governments in modern history.
Ironically, as we edit the first episode and during the past week, we've seen the World Health Organization and US government announce that the COVID pandemic is over. The US government even said that May 11 is the official date the COVID-19 pandemic ends. Yet the harms caused by governments and pharmaceutical companies over the last 3 years with their hysterical approach to capturing the opportunities of a pandemic are still with us. This past March 2023, I was sentenced to 5 months prison for a small, peaceful protest in 2021 against lockdown harm, for which I am on bail and under appeal. Yet we now have New Zealand mainstream media reporting what we always knew, that COVID-19 for most New Zealanders is the equivalent of the flu. The importance of this documentary cannot be underestimated, and with your support we will get the truth out there. Please go to our website riveroflives.co.nz and sign up to our blog and donate to help us finish this most important project. Thank you as ever for your time, and please keep the peace in your spirit and seek the Lord for His care. But do rest assured, the truth is coming.